Hey all, good morning. Good morning. I'm actually using my ho glass because all my coffee mugs, the ones that say coffee on it, are in the dishwasher. Need to take and get that emptied. So I am going to show you guys so the ink. It's a permanent ink. You can set it in the oven. So I'm going to wait a few moments. I just tested. I am coming through loud and clear. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I will try to keep up with comments, but it's kind of hard when you're a one-man show and you are using a laptop to watch and a phone above you and don't have everything right in front of you. So it's kind of hard and I don't want to distract myself too much. But if you drop a comment, I will absolutely respond after I wrap this up. Do me a favor when you pop on, say hi, wave, or something. Drop a GIF of your favorite thing to do on a lazy morning. Mine is to take and sit and enjoy my coffee and try not to beat my dogs. Yeah, we've already had issues with them this morning, but you know, they're 1-year-old Great Dane puppies, so what do you expect? Nothing but utter craziness. That is what I expect. So we are going to do, so I did this one a while ago. I haven't heat set it. This is one of our small transfers that was out earlier. Kind of like that one. So I'm going to heat set it. You put to heat set stuff, in which I won't be doing that obviously now because, yeah, it's weird. You won't really be able to see it, but you put your mugs, your glassware, after you use the ink on it, on a tray, in the oven cold. Don't preheat it. Put it in there cold. Then you want to preheat it to 350 and let it warm up the cups and the oven. Because if you put cold ceramic or glass in a warm oven, it's going to shatter. So you put it in there while it's preheating, and then once the timer beeps that it's preheated, then you set your timer for 30 minutes and let it bake. Then you turn everything off, and then you let it cool down in the oven with the oven cracked. That's how you get this to heat set and be permanent, so it doesn't wash off. So we're going to try a few different things. I've already been up crafting a little bit this morning, getting things going. I did this one. Can you guys see that? Probably not. Let me, hold on a second. I'm going to put my towel on the inside of it so that way you can see it. There you go. You can see that. So hashtag mom life. We did have this transfer at the beginning of spring, in which you can't get it anymore. But I had never used it until this morning. See, I just cut that out. So I was like, oh, I might do some of these to take down to Jackson Whitaker. That's where I sell some of my stuff on consignment. So I'm going to make a few of these wine glasses. And let me get some tissue paper to put inside the wine glasses there, so that way you guys can see them. See what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Hopefully I've got some gold tissue paper right in here. Okay, I don't, but you know what? I will take and I will put that in there so that way you can at least see what I'm doing. Okay, so I use, this is my handmade Dollar Tree holder. Anytime I do put anything like that's round, you know, because it wobbles around, I cut my pool noodle down to about 12 inches and I rubber banded it. It holds it straight or it won't cause it to do that. So, little helpful tip there for you if any of y'all are crafters and you're always struggling. So I learned that somewhere on, I think a YouTube or something like that. Not entirely sure. So now the difference with glassware like this that you're actually going to use and drink, just so you know from the paste to the ink, the paste is washable. Yes, you can set it with like a clear coat or Mod Podge dishwasher, but it will eventually come off with you washing it because that clear coat will eventually fade away. That's why you want to use ink on anything that you will be using. Like I think we're going to try this one with Gather on it. During this, we'll see how it goes. So that's why you want to use ink on anything that you'll be using over and over and over again, because it's going to be permanent. Okay, so enough chit-chatting. Has given plenty of time for people to pop on if they wanted to catch it while I was live. If you guys don't mind, I would absolutely love it if you would like this video. And I don't think we're allowed to say the word while we're on lives. I think it's like a Facebook rule. But if you would share this out while it's playing, that will do nothing but help me. And then also I've got it, up there. If you jump on and you are interested in Chalk Couture, comment #MomLife down there, since we're going to use that transfer a couple times. That way I will know to contact you and get you some information. So let's get to it. So yeah, I've got my little burlap bag in there so that way you can see what I'm doing. So with this transfer, so I cut that off this morning. Wrote on the back of it, so that way I knew what it was. I'm not doing it horizontal, just because with a curved cup like this, how it's beveled and curved on all different multiple ways, it's hard to get it straight like this. So since this is a flat curved, not rounded curved, I was able to get that straight. With the rounded curve, unless you cut your transfer in the middle to that way you can manipulate it and then your transfer just is a wreck, I would suggest doing angled, so that way you don't have to worry about it looking wavy like. So now with this ink, you want to absolutely make sure you rub this one down. And hey, I want to thank you guys for understanding me not getting on right at 9:30. My husband is actually down in Florida waiting to ride out Dorian, and I always catch Mike's weather page. He's a typical Joe like you and me that is a weather nut, and he has actually been right on with all these hurricanes and everything in the past couple of years. So I found his page on Facebook. He is amazing. So he went live just to give us a brief update. So I kind of just like to, even though he's down there and he's not going to be, he's not going to leave because that's what he does. I kind of like to know what's going on with the weather. So I just wanted to catch his quick update real quick. So thanks for understanding. Okay, so the ink is, if you can see, is a little bit more runnier than your paste is. So this is paste. See, the paste is a little bit thicker. You can see it's a little bit gooier. It's supposed to be like slime or putty. Your ink is thinner. So with it being thinner, that means you don't need as much. You definitely want to be sparingly with the ink because it will bleed if you don't, sorry about my big old arm in the way, if you don't get it all the way down. So on this, you definitely want to make sure you rub your finger over the transfer multiple times to make sure that it is it is all sealed down. Okay, so let's get to this. So I'm just going to use the ink that's on the lid. See how like easy and gooey that is. You don't need a whole heck of a lot. So I'm going to squeegee some of that off. See, there's still a ton on there. So I only have black ink. So everything I am doing this morning will be in the black ink. I do have it on my list to order some more inks, but you know, I will get them right away. Get them as soon as I can. So I squeegeed all the extra off and pull that off, and there you go. So this one I'm going to sit over to the side with my other one. Now I'm not going to put this right in the water bath because I'm going to use it again. I'm going to make a set of 4 of these. Let me put this in here so you can see what I'm doing. Now, since it's already got ink on the top, I'm just going to lay that down and then kind of like just press my finger over these because I don't want to smear it just in case ink pushes up underneath of the transfer before I get this top part pushed down. Makes sense? So now that I got that all pushed down, now I'm going around it with my finger to make sure there's no air bubbles, because we definitely don't want it to push out. If it does, you can just wipe it right off. So if this one makes a mistake, we'll just wipe it right off, let it sit and dry, and then we'll move on to the next one. So here we go. So after I get these all cured up, I'm going to run these down to, and look, see, I didn't get that pushed down. So I'm going to have a mistake here. I already know that. So see, it is absolutely doable. You just have to be patient. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to clean it off real quick. So that way the glass, see, look, it wipes right off. I'm going to sit the glass over here so it can absolutely dry. Now, let's try another one. Okay. So yeah, so I don't mind making mistakes. I too am learning just like you all. But the good thing about me making mistakes is that you can see how easy it is to correct and to fix. So that is a glorious thing about Chalk Couture, that it is easy to correct and fix. Now it looks like I have got, and I'm turning it so I can see it all in the light to make sure I've got it all pressed down on the outsides. Looks like I do. So there's my thing. Let me just squeegee on my letters. Get off all my excess. I'm actually going to use this big one to get the excess off, so that way I've got like one clear swoop on my letters and you don't see ridges. Pop that off. Now look, I got a little bit of, because it looks like, yeah, I got a little bit shadowing on the back of my transfer here. So since it didn't squeegee all the way out, oh, my transfer's like hanging onto my finger for dear life. I am going to just take my handy dandy Q-tip and remove all that shadowing, because I definitely don't want it to bake on, right? Oops, and it looks like I took off the bottom of my O. So that will be easy to fix. And I got my mom. So there we go again. Made another mistake. But that's all right. I'm not going to redo this one on the camera, just because I'm sure you guys are like, seriously, come on, Christy, get your stuff together. But I am going to clean it off, sit it to the side. I'll do this one off the camera. We'll move on to a different transfer on some coffee mugs, because I'm going to stick this in my water bath so that way it doesn't set up on it. So I'm going to, on this white coffee mug, hi Casey, hi Marcia, hi Jennifer, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. Those are the only ones that I see on. So if I miss somebody, I'm so sorry. But okay, so I'm going to use this one. And yeah, look, my hands, they're a wreck, always. I don't get manicures just because of the nature of my business, because I craft a lot. I break a lot of nails. My hands always look like paint everywhere. My boys, I don't know if you can hear them, but they're outside barking. I can hear them just because it gets on, it just goes right through me sometimes. But it is what it is. God love them. So here, this is Happy Camper. So I think that's kind of fitting. Happy Camper mug, transfer on a coffee mug. Like that. So again, a little bit of ink. And we're just going to push this right on over this transfer. Now, the amazing thing with our inks is they can be used on clothing. You can do them on, say, napkins, on anything that you can heat set it on. So here is my Happy Camper. There's my Happy Camper. So I'm going to sit that to the side because I'm going to heat set that. Okay. Let's do another one. So I'm going to do, oh, I just took the thing off. And so the adventure begins. Hi, Aunt Linda. My hands are a little wet. I'm sticking that one in the bath. Let me dry that. So you press down. Make sure you don't have any air bubbles around your letters, because you don't want that to bleed through. And then you add your ink. Okay, so I'm going to squeegee the rest of that ink off. I'm going to use a bigger squeegee so that way I get some, I don't have lines going through. There we go. There we go. And it looks like I have a little bit of bleeding, but that, yeah, it looks like my transfer there gave a little bit of bleeding on the back, but I'll correct that with a toothpick before I heat set it. Just to, and these transfers have been used probably about 20 or 30 times, to be honest with you. They say that the transfers are only good for about 15 uses, but if you take care of them really well, then you'll be able to use them over and over again. Now with that ink, since it's so thin, it tends to seep through a lot. So I'm thinking ink is best used with brand new transfers. Brand new transfers, because they are super sticky. But this too shall pass, and we will work on through this. So I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do this one. I want to try, and I'm going to do one paste one. I'm going to try to do this one. So this is rounded, and so we're going to see how this works, okay? But I've been wanting to try this. And this transfer, I've used this one probably about 20 times, so it might not do the best, but you'll get the idea, and you'll be able to understand, you know, if you get this one, then you ink with it when it's brand new. So since this is rounded, yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure that it looks like it's going to be straight. It kind of looks like it's going to be straight to me, but hey, guess what? We'll see how this goes, right? So I'm rubbing this one down real well. Since this one's been used multiple times, I'm telling you probably about 20, 25 times, I am being very hard with rubbing this one down because I don't want this to bleed through. Okay, so there we go. So grabbing some of my ink. Scraping it off. And grab my big squeegee to scrape the rest of it off. There we go. I'm going to pull it up. I got a little bit of shadowing, but that can be fixed. So I will fix that with a toothpick to remove that. But again, like I said, that I solely believe because that transfer has been used so many times. It's not even funny how many times that transfer has been used. So I think that's what the problem is with that. So let me put this to the side. Now I just posted on my page, I updated my coffee table tray because I saw this come through from Shades of Chic earlier this morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got some of those old cheese graters, right? So I was like, that is super cute. Put a little LED candle underneath of it. So I added a fall type bow to it, to one of the cheese graters. So that way it looked, you know, it was super cute, and tied it into my gingham, my buffalo plaid mason jars that I made. Well, next to it, I took one of these LED lights, and I was like, I think that would be cute sitting right in between both the mason jars and the graters. But I was like, I need something on it to kind of tie it together. So I put the word welcome on it with chalk. So I have my welcome transfer here. This one has been used. See how it is? See? My lighting, I know, is terrible. I think I have a bulb out in here, but I'm working on it, guys. But see, this has been used so many times, but it works really well with the chalk. So I'm going to put this on here. So this is just so that way you guys can see that chalk can be used on many different surfaces. Many different surfaces. So here is that. I'm going to do it in orange because that's the color of the season, getting ready to come up in a little bit, right? The end of September, fall's here. And we're just going to squeegee this on like so. Take off my transfer. There you go. And this is a LED candle, so it will glow through. I'm not going to take that out because I'm going to put this on my page and sell it. But yeah, so I'm not going to, with this one, since I'm going to sell it, I'll clear coat it in matte. And since it's LED, it's a flameless one, it's not going to catch fire or whatnot. So that's kind of cool. Now I wanted to show you guys ink on a on a piece of cloth. So we're going to do this little bib. Okay. Now, I want to make sure my whole surface is clear and clean here, because I do not want it to take anything on the back. Now, this is going to be a gift for my niece. I'm hosting her shower this weekend here, so I got to get my whole home squared around and cleaned, and it's so hard when you love to do crafting. But hopefully, I've never done this before, so this is the first time on a live I've ever done this. So we're going to see how this goes, okay? I may ruin it. If I ruin it, I ruin it. You know, it is what it is. But you know what? At least I'm trying, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to do this transfer. I've only used it once, so hopefully it is nice, good, and sticky. We are going to peel my transfer up, and I'm going to place this down on here. So this is just, you know how you can make heat transfer vinyl with your Cricut and iron them on, heat set them. This is another way. If you don't have the money to get a Cricut, or if you've thought about it, but you're like, yeah, I just don't know how much I'd use it. If you see transfers in there, you can take and make your own stuff also. So I'm making sure all this is rubbed down, and it is. I'm going to grab my ink. Of course, I've only got the black, so it's just going to be simple, which that's totally fine. I'm going to sit down in my squeaky chair, so please forgive my squeaky chair. I got to get a new one. I think this one is probably about 8 years old. Yeah, so it is, it's time for a new one. So I'm going to turn this, and cross your fingers, wish me luck. Hopefully everything goes good. So we're just going to squeegee our ink on. Now, I didn't have a whole terrible lot on there because I did not, since it's so thin, I did not want to overkill it and have so much that it bleeds through. Huh. Going on just like putty. That's pretty cool. Like I said, this is the very first time I've inked on apparel or cloth or anything. So I've got all my excess off. Time for the reveal, guys. Let's see how this does. It is a little challenging to get them off of the cloth, but that's all right. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love that. That was so easy. That was so super easy. It didn't bleed through, not that I can see. So that is pretty cool. Now, what we're going to do with this, I have a Cricut heat press. So I'm going to get my heat press out because we need to set this since it's on cloth. Now, excuse my big old tray here, but I got to get this squared around. It's over there on the other side. So I'm going to preheat this to 350. Oh, there goes my camera. I bumped it. Hopefully everything's good. Okay. So preheat to 350. While I do that, I've got my heat pad. So I'm going to put that on there. Now, what you have to do when you go to heat set this, because we obviously don't want the ink to end up on the bottom, right? Oh, my camera, my camera's wanting to wibble wobble because of my cord here. So hopefully that won't, sorry, you see my big old arms. So I'm going to get a piece of my Teflon paper that I have, because I don't want ink on the bottom of my Cricut press, because then that will just be a god-awful mess, right? So yeah, if I had some other ink colors, like I could add little hearts, that would be so super cute. These would make great baby gifts for showers that you have to go to and whatnot. So this is a good, if you want to make something handmade to give them, very good idea. So we've got while I'm waiting, I'm just killing time while I'm waiting. So here's our inks. So we've got all sorts of colors and inks. They are $13.99 a jar. So we also have some glitter or shimmer. They call them shimmer gold, silver, and copper. Yeah, so in here it says ink is permanent when heat set. All of our transfers can be used with ink or can be used with our paste. So that's so cool. So yeah, all of these transfers. So with Christmas coming up, you could totally do t-shirts. So if you're like, man, I wish I could make myself a really cool t-shirt, you know, but I don't have a Cricut. Hey, guess what? Get a transfer, get some ink, and then you can even, you don't have to have a heat press to set it. A regular iron will do. So, and everybody has irons, right? So a regular iron will do. So we've only got about 15 more degrees for this to heat up. And then we'll only press it for about 15 seconds. So I've got my Teflon paper, Teflon sheet is what they call it, over the baby cloth or the baby bib, because I don't, you know, like I said, I don't want the ink on the bottom of my heat press. Okay, we've got about 10 more degrees. You know what they say, it's like watching water boil. It takes longer, doesn't it? So yeah, been trying to kill time. Got about 5 more degrees just before we put this down for about 15 seconds to heat set it in. There we go. There's the magic timer. Okay, so I want to just push this down. 30 seconds already set on my timer. And I'm going to press on it. So when you're doing this, if you don't have a heat press, then when you're doing it with an iron, you want to make sure you have a padded surface, not a metal. You want like a matted or a matte surface, or make sure your ironing board has got one of those mats on it. Then I would put a towel underneath of that, because you don't want the metal from the ironing board to counteract and double heat. So I want to make sure I don't put that back on my cord. I've done that before. So I've got it now heat set, so it will be permanent. So that will be a little gift that goes in with my rest of my baby shower stuff. So, okay guys, thanks so much. I know this was a tad bit long, but thanks for the ones that had joined. Please like, share, or you're not supposed to say that word, S-H-A-R-E, the video out. Invite people to like my business page. I do all sorts of crafts, home decor. I can also, if you need help with decorating for the holidays, I can absolutely come out and help decorate for you. So thank you so much for supporting me and helping my business grow. I love and appreciate every single one of those likes, shares, and comments and supporters out there. You guys are the absolute best to help me do what I truly love to do and not have to go into a corporate setting. So thanks guys. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Labor Day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.